morning, boys and girls. We're here to record episode 17 of the Celtic Minded podcast. I'm Frank and he's Tommy, and it's very difficult to speak because I can't get rid of the smile in my face. Because Frank, we're going to discuss all these issues over the next 30 minutes. Absolutely brilliant feeling to have emerged from the Glasgow derby. We were hoping 1 point, we've came with 3, 6 points ahead, 6 games to go. It's looking like the remarkable could actually happen, that we're going to take our title back within a season. Ange, I think, is on the verge of having worked a miracle, Frank. But before I take your comments, because you know I always cut across you, I wanted to just explain this wonderful painting here behind us, wonderful portrait by an artist from Kilmarnock called Ryan Mutter, who you can actually see he was trained alongside Peter Howson. You can see the features, the Howson-like features of our King of Kings, Henrik Larsson. And the reason this is here is because in just over 2 weeks' time we're going to be in the Kerrydale Suite at Parkhead for the Willie Maley Memorial Night Dinner, and this is going to be auctioned. This is going to be auctioned alongside other items, including a portrait of Willie Maley with the signatures, because Willie Maley was from the north of Ireland, first ever Celtic manager. So was Brendan Rodgers. So was Martin O'Neill. So was Neil Lennon. All 3 of them have signed this portrait of Willie Maley, and it will be auctioned on Friday night, 22nd of April, in the Kerrydale Suite, along with the portrait of Henrik Larsson and several other items to raise money to erect a statue, Frank, to Willie Maley in Newry, in his birthplace, to recognise the legend that he is in terms of Glasgow Celtic's history. So, although we're going to discuss a lot of the contemporary issues in a moment, it's a fantastic cause, is it not?
Well, the only thing that surprises me why it's taking so long is what he done for Celtic. I was reading it, is just unbelievable. Unbelievable how he started Celtic up in the proper way, giving money to the poor and all these things he done. It's just amazing what that guy done at that time.
Well, he's going to be recognised. It's a fair point to say it should have happened before now, but I've got to say, rank and file. I'm sorry, wait a wee second, quick. Martin, we're right in the middle of the podcast just now, and I'm just about to mention you and your medal. So if that's all right, is that all right to mention the medal? Right, but they've done it. They've met up. So Lenny signed the portrait, and I'll phone you right after the podcast. Cheers, brother. Bye. Martin Riley, as you know, agent of Neil Lennon and James Forrest, Scott Brown. He's also donated something very special. And this here, Frank, is a 9 in a row medal from one of the players, donated to the night. We're going to discuss whether we could get that as an auction item as well. Collector's item, 9 in a row medal. Very few people get their hands in that type of thing, but there you go. It's been donated by Martin Riley, so thanks very much for that, Martin. And this year's been donated by former Scottish boxer Ian McLeod. Lovely guy, very good boxer, now a promoter, and he's donated this to the Willie Maley Memorial Group. So fantastic, Frank. I just wanted to mention that at the outset. But let's get on to the Derby game debrief, Frank. We had the pleasure of watching the game together.
Yes.
I couldn't get you to sit down. You were up and down.
Yes.
You actually, I think you in the course of it called me a fanatic.
I think you are a fanatic.
I was nervous, mate. I was nervous. But what did you think? Overall, what about the team selection? Did they get it right?
Well, he always gets it right. He's now going for the treble. If he'd have said to me at the end of last season, Celtic will win the treble next year, I would have sent you to see a doctor. There's no way that could happen. Postecoglou came in. They were after other managers, and he came in from nowhere. And the board, who I give a wee bit of stick sometime to, and
deservedly so.
But this time, whoever got Postecoglou made one of the best moves ever in Celtic's history, as far as I'm concerned. That's how high I'm rating what he's doing just now. But it was just a marvellous game. I thought Celtic would go out and get a goal early. When Rangers scored, I thought that was the end. I said, oh God, we can't lose a goal early, because Celtic worked so hard in the first half of games that they tire in the second half, and I was worried. But I said to myself, they've got a full Ibrox, and they've got to try and score a goal. They've got to try and defend. They went up and they scored 2 goals, and then in the second half, and that's a lot of ball to go in there to Ibrox and score 2 goals against Rangers in the first half after losing a goal, and then have in the second half just sit back and defend properly. So they've done 2 things for me which I didn't expect. They had the bottle to come back, and they defended brilliantly in the second half, which I think was amazing.
And you know what, Frank? I thought that perhaps, given the physical nature of the game, the intimidating atmosphere, I thought, oh, maybe he should bring in Big Beaton to start and push McGregor forward and leave out Hatate. But, you know, the big man he just refuses to waver. He plays his way all the time. And therefore he started with his creative players. He decided to have a go. And apart from that first 6-7 minutes, where, quite frankly, they came at us, they didn't give us time in the ball, and we made a few sloppy errors, mistakes, uncharacteristic. Juranovic, in my opinion, has been peerless as a player. But he was at fault with that first goal. Yeah. Usually his positional sense is excellent. He allowed himself to get taken in the inside. After that, I just thought, Big Ange used a word after the game. He used the word pride. And I'm going to say to you, I was proud of the performances and proud of the endeavour.
Well, they went to Ibrox. It's a full house. There's only 700 fans there, and they made a lot of noise. The Celtic fans are amazing. They made a lot of noise. They helped the players as well. You know, the fans are. For me, they are a big win. When I used to go out against Rangers and the fans were there, that gave me a big boost. So the fans done a great job as well. But to go out there, I thought at 1-0, I said, oh, this is not good. I didn't expect Rangers to score early in the game. I thought Celtic might get a goal early and try and hang on to it in the second half. But the way it turned out, you know, they showed. I was worried about their bottle. I'm not worried about that now. They have got the bottle to go to Ibrox, full house, getting beat 1-0, come back 2-1, defend brilliantly in the second half. You can't ask for any better than that, Tommy.
Well, Frank, Big Joe put off a good save in the second half, low down to Sakalas, good strong left hand. But apart from that, Big Joe, he didn't have to save anything else in the whole of the second half. And the truth is, the 2 best chances in the second half were to Celtic.
Yeah.
Both of them, perhaps unfortunate because he was just on the park, but both of them were presented to Abada. Uh-huh. I mean, I don't know about you, but if you take yourself back, and we should relive these moments because they're brilliant moments. Uh-huh. But if you look at the pass from Giamakis through to Abada for that chance, to me, he didn't have to do anything. He had to just hit it first time. Yeah. He took a touch, took it a bit wide, hits it past the post. Okay, that it wasn't long on. I'm going to give him a wee bit of slack. But the second one, what a move, by the way. And here's a point, Frank, that I have to make. We're bringing on subs now that can actually affect the game. Because if you look at the second chance I'm going to talk about, David Turnbull, Ralston play a beautiful 1-2 down the right. Ralston crosses it over. It's a great ball. Big Goldson scuffs it and it falls nearly 6 yards out to Abada. Now, why he didn't hit it with his right foot, I don't know. He went with his left. And okay, it pains me to say it, but it was an incredible save that McGregor pulls off.
Aye.
But those are the two best chances of that half, and they came to us.
Yeah, I understand. To miss chances like that, I missed one of the biggest sitters ever against Aberdeen at Butodry one time, and I was so embarrassed that I'd missed it. So these things happen. It's how you deal with, if you're a player and you're on the park and you do something wrong, it's not the doing the wrong, it's how you deal with doing that thing that's wrong. I remember that game, we played Aberdeen, I didn't score in the game, and after that, I missed that. I played out my skin, because I said I'll have to step up here. Played out my skin, named man of the match, and we won 3-1. I helped in all the goals more or less in the game for Celtic, and I played my heart out. So it's how you deal with missing that. But Abada, I have to say, he's been very good.
Listen, pound for pound.
He's scored a lot of goals that people didn't think he would be able to score. So he's done his bit for Celtic this year.
Definitely.
So if Celtic would have got beaten, he missed the chances, then he would have got a bit of stick. But Celtic won, so the chances are really nothing.
No, it's a good
really
point.
Nothing.
It's a good point. Pound for pound, the young man has been an excellent signing. 19 years of age when he signs, only 20. He's still learning his trade, but by goodness, he's paid back the fee already, in my opinion. However, that point you've made does bring me on to comment on another couple of players, but specifically I'm going to ask you to comment on Guacamakis up front, our big Greek Gio, because he didn't score either, and yet he probably had one of the best games I've seen him, even though he scored hat-tricks in previous games. I thought on Sunday he was absolutely outstanding.
Well, I think getting 2 hat-tricks in the last few games has really helped his confidence. And now the manager has not bought him because he's a bad player. He's shown now his ability. He didn't show it for the first 6 months. I thought he was no good, to be honest with you. But sometimes players need time to settle. He's now settled in at Celtic, and I'm looking for a lot of him now because he started poorly. So I think he's now going to come in and give Celtic a lot up front.
There's a wee group called the Boys Analytics, and they look at all the detailed analysis of the ground covered, the amount of sprints, the number of shots, number of passes, etc, etc. And the remarkable thing is, Frank, although Maeda was way up the top in terms of the Celtic team, as you would expect, because he covered every blade of grass, but the remarkable thing is, Guacamakis covered more ground than even Maeda. So that is a testimony, isn't it, to his input in that game?
That is incredible, because he's a big lad, and for him to run about, he's using up a lot of energy. So, he's going to tire quite easily, where Maeda, he's very slim and very fit. But the only thing is, you've got to pace yourself in games as well. You can't, run out and then you're absolutely knackered after 60 minutes. You've got to last the whole 90 minutes as well. So he's got to have a look at that. But you can't complain with his effort. That's the kind of attitude that you need when you're a football player, to give everything you've got. And if you can do that, nobody can ask for any more.
Here's a tribute to the performance, Frank, that I think all Celtic supporters have to pause and reflect on. And that is that we're all arguing about who was the man of the match, because there were so many candidates. I'm going to say arguing, debating, discussing, sometimes disagreeing. But the truth is, there were so many performers who stepped up to the plate on Sunday that's a good thing that we're arguing about who was the man of the match. Who was your man of the match?
Well, I'm going to go. I always remember talking to the Lisbon Lions. I spoke to all the Lisbon Lions, and they always said to me, I said, who's the best player in the Lisbon Lions? I know who my best player was and things like that, but I asked them, and every one of them said, we're a team.
Great.
So there's a lot of players I could say were man of the match, but for the first time ever, I've said this, the team was the man of the match.
That's a great point. I'm going to take issue with you because that's what we do when we're having debates and friendly discussions.
I'm very experienced.
I think the idea of what you've said is brilliant, and I do respect it, and I think those answers for the Lisbon Lions is reflective of them as a team as well. But for me, Carter Vickers was, I just love him as a player. I think since he's came to the ground, he's just been my type of player. He just gets on with the game. He never seems to roll about. He just does his job without any fuss. Very rarely makes mistakes. I just love him as a defender. I thought Starfelt stood up so strong. These two have been criticised, particularly Starfelt, and I think that criticism is waning now completely and dissolving. And I'm no Greg Taylor's biggest fan, I've got to say that. I don't think he's the best left back that Celtic's ever had, but I thought on Sunday he gave us 100% and deserved a lot of the plaudits he's getting. Juranovic, despite the first 5-6 minutes and the fault at the goal, went on to have a great game. Big heart. I mean, I only made that save in the second half, but what a save he made in the first half. It was offside. But he didn't know it was offside when Ramsey was through. They made it 2-0 for them, and he saved it. Brilliant, absolutely brilliant. So the back five as a unit were tremendous. But I'm going to give special. Rogic first half. He's a magician with his feet. He's just a magician, right? But this is a long way to say it. But I thought that Callum McGregor played a captain's role. I just think he's walking 10 feet tall in that part now. The way he dragged us, I mean, there was nothing on Frank, nothing. He receives the ball, midfield, surrounded by Rangers players, and he just drives into the box, takes out 3 players into the box, and okay, it wasn't a clean cross that he got in, but it got to Rogic, shot, deflected, Hatate, shot, deflected for McGregor, and then Big Tom with ultimate ease and poise puts it in the net. To me, McGregor grabbed that game by the scruff of the neck, drove us forward and got us right back into the game. And then throughout the rest of the game, I thought he was just brilliant.
Well, he's a very, very good captain. He was always going to be the next captain after Brown, and he's now shown that authority on the park and showing the other players this is what we do at Ibrox. But he's very experienced at Ibrox. So I'm not surprised that he played extremely well as a captain and as a player. And that's what you've got to. Maybe the players were going out and looking about at the other players and maybe seeing Callum McGregor and went, we've got Callum, we've got a good chance today. The same as I done with Roy Aitken and Danny McGrain and these players. Used to, when I went out to Ibrox, look at them, we've got a chance. Right? We're not going to lie down to this team and fall over. And that's exactly what Celtic done at the weekend. They stood up, 1-0 down, 2 goals. The second half, Rangers hardly had a chance in goal, and that's because the whole team was defending, not just the defenders, the whole team were defending properly. The forwards were covering moves. That's incredible work. You've got to do that, and that's why I've named the team as the man of the match.
Excellent, Frank. I think Angie's philosophy is you defend for the front, and that's why he buys players who are prepared to put in a shift. And if they can't put in the shift, they're not going to.
But it's a hard shift. Future. You've got to run forward for all the goals, and then you've got to chase fullbacks, and then you've got to chase centre halves. That's an extreme amount of work. As far as I'm concerned, I think the forward should be up front and using all his energy. Going in behind defences and coming short and turning and creating things. I think forward should be that. But Angie's got his forwards now defending, which that's why I didn't think Celtic lost any goals in the second half. The whole team defended, the whole team attacked.
Listen, we're having a podcast discussing the positives because there are so many. I do think it's our duty to mention some of the negatives. I thought the song list from the home fans was deplorable again, up to their knees in Fenian blood. I thought the club was doing something to prevent that type of racist and hate chants, but it seems the fans don't care about it. But then they go even a step further. Glass on the park. and the physio gets assaulted with a bottle, and then more missiles are thrown at the corner flag to Jota and to the team after the game. I've not seen it, and I'll apologise if it has been put out, but I've not seen any statement from the Rangers condemning their fans and apologising. And see, if they don't, it lacks class. It lacks class. And any decent fan of that club has to condemn what happened. Because if it happened at Parkhead, I would be condemning it as well.
Yeah.
And if they're not prepared to condemn it, then they're condoning it, and they should be ashamed of themselves.
Well, I think it's got to be looked into. You can't have that at a football park. You know, a guy standing at the dugout getting hit with a bottle or a glass, whatever, cut him, and that's unacceptable in Scottish football, and that has to be sorted out. Not next year or the year after. It has to be sorted out right now. The SFA, everybody got to get round the table and sort these things out now. That's unacceptable.
Well, the idea of a guy going to his work and getting glassed with a bottle wouldn't be accepted in any other walk of life, so why has it been in any way, shape or form accepted in this? So, however, that's the negatives. Let's move on, Frank, because we now have a game on Saturday, which enormous magnitude. It's St Johnstone at home, and some people will say, well, St Johnstone haven't had a good season, they're languishing near the bottom, and they've had a couple of good results recently. Should be straightforward, but you know what? After the high of Sunday, it would be absolutely tragic, wouldn't it, if we don't raise our game for Saturday to get this 3 points, this essential 3 points in the bag with 5 games to go, 6 points ahead. I mean, that to me, you win on Saturday and you're almost touching the league title.
Yeah. I said in one of the podcasts about a month or two ago that Celtic had one thing that you can't buy, and that's momentum. Now, I said that then, and I said Celtic will probably win the league because of that one thing, momentum. Celtic have got momentum in spades, so they've got all the momentum in the world. They went to Ibrox, they gave them a goal at a start, they beat them. They're just moving on, and they're, you know, the Celtic team, it's wonderful to watch because they don't pass the ball about the back, they go for it and they make passes up front. It's very enjoyable for the Celtic fans. So my point is that, you know, I think they can't do much more than what they're doing just now, and I think, you know, if they go in with the right attitude, which I don't think they won't, if they go in with the right attitude against St Johnstone, it's another 3 points. I have to say, and I don't like to say that Celtic are going to win the league, but I've said it, I thought they would win the league about a month ago, and now it would be unbelievable if they didn't win the league. So I think they've won the league, and I think they'll go to St Johnstone, and the one thing that they'll have is the right attitude, because this manager, he doesn't want any player to go out there thinking that they've won the game, so he'll make sure that doesn't happen, and I'm quite confident that 3 points will be in the bag. Well,
I hope you forgive me, Frank, because you're right. Every single game, you start a game and it's 2 teams, and you need to earn the right to win games.
Exactly.
You never go into a park and get awarded the points, because that just doesn't happen in football. So you need to earn the right, and I'm sure those players will. But please forgive me if I just indulge in a wee bit of possible history making, because Giamakis has scored the hat-tricks in each of his last 2 home games. On Saturday, if he's selected, he could make history by being the first Celtic player ever to score 3 consecutive hat-tricks at home. Now, I know some St Johnstone fans might say, oh, it's big-headed and conceited, you shouldn't be discussing things like that. I'm sorry, I think he's capable of doing it, and what an achievement that would be. Do you think it's possible?
It is possible. Celtic at home, they're going to make about 10, 12 chances at home. He started at Celtic poorly. I watched him a few games to see what he was doing, his movement, and there was nothing. He was getting chances, he wasn't taking them. I think did he miss a penalty as well? Missed a penalty.
Not just that, he missed it was a very crucial penalty because it was in the last minute against Livingston at home. There was nothing each.
Aye, that's
and the truth is, it was a dent in our confidence because we ended up dropping 2 points at home. But he's picked himself up.
But that's what I like about these players. They don't lie about and go like that. Oh, I can't play any good. I'm not very good. You know, they are going in and going like that. Right, I had a bad game. Right, I have to get myself fitter. I have to get myself ready, mentally ready for this game. And I've gave him a bit of stick, and he deserved the stick because he wasn't doing anything. And now he's came out and scored 2 hat-tricks at home, which is sensational. And I want him to get another hat-trick. That would be brilliant. And, you know, and why shouldn't he? He's got all the support for the other players. So he's got, I agree with you there, Tommy. He's got every chance of scoring a hat-trick.
Of the 11 that started the game on Sunday, only 3 were there last season. And just come in and transformed the team. Can you, Frank, as we move towards the conclusion of the podcast, can you sum up in words just what effect has this man had in this team?
Well, I've said it already in the podcast. He's the nearest I've seen to Jockstein. He doesn't go about looking for praise or anything. He just gets on with his work, and then when he's doing well, he even goes about things and tries to see how better the team can get. I think all the people in the world at the time when Celtic had no manager, he was the best choice. I've given the directors a bit of stick in my time, but the directors made the perfect choice by bringing in Postecoglou. He's been absolutely amazing, and I'm really looking forward to the future of Celtic. I love Celtic in Europe. I don't think they're at that stage yet, but I didn't think Rangers were at that stage, and they keep winning, so there you go. But I have to say that if you'd have said to me at the start of the season Celtic are going to win the treble, I would have got a doctor for you straight right away and just sent you a psychiatrist. They had no chance of winning the treble as far as I'm concerned. The club was on its knees, and he has came to Parkhead. Look at you smiling all the time. I've never seen that before. You're smiling all the time. My boys, I've got 3 kids, and my daughter loves Celtic. They're smiling and happy. He's came and he's made everybody happy. And Celtic, I think, are odds on to get a treble this season.
Frank, I'm reluctant to indulge in it, mate.
No,
because
I'm just telling you what I think. I think they could win it now, and why not?
Incredible.
Who's going to beat them?
No, listen, it's the idea that it's realistic. I remember sitting with one of my big blue nose mates playing a game of poker way back in the summer, and he said to me, "Oh, what's your realistic expectation for Ange coming in?" And I said, "My realistic expectation to win the league again." And he says, "Oh, that's rubbish. He's far too far behind. Rangers are ahead on all fronts in terms of playing staff, management, scouting." And I says, "Well, I'm telling you, that's my expectation. I want him to win the league." Now, the truth is, I was saying it more in hope.
Yeah, of course.
He was
right. That guy was right. What he was saying to you.
But the truth is, he's turned it around, mate. But we are going to win this league. I'm confident we're going to win the league. We're going to be champions of Scotland again. Deservedly so, for the 10th time in 11 years. Absolutely remarkable. But can we win the treble? Oh, Frank.
Well, why not? You know, Celtic are the best team in Scotland. Rangers, they gave Rangers a goalie a start and still beat them. So, and I've got this. What I'd like to know, if anybody out there going to explain momentum to me, how you get it, because I don't know how it comes. It just comes. It just all of a sudden comes. You've got momentum. If anybody out there could explain to me what momentum is and how teams get momentum, because I would love to know that. It just happens. It's like a wee magic wand. Boom! You've got momentum, and then all of a sudden you go and win leagues. And that's what happened to Celtic. So anybody out there could explain momentum to me, I would be very happy.
Brothers and sisters, boys and girls, we've come to the end of episode 17 of the Celtic Minded podcast. I'm Frank and he's Tommy. It's been a pleasure to be in the company of this legend yet again and listening to his wise remarks and his wisdom. I do have to say to you that we are very, very happy because we have came from the doldrums. We had a terrible season last season for a whole combination of factors. Everything went wrong that could go wrong, and he's picked it up by the scruff of the neck, and he is a man of character, he's a man of integrity, and he's a man that I think we're all very, very proud to call our leader as far as Glasgow Celtic is concerned. Shout out to Shug and Stephen, who have had to go to Cyprus on a mission to get Lenny's signature on the Willie Maley painting. Then they're going to get Brendan's signature, and then we're going to get Martin's signature on Friday the 22nd of April in the Kerrydale Suite at Parkhead. We're going to raise the final tranche of money. £17,000 is going to be raised that night to erect a statue to Celtic's first manager in his place of birth in Newry. So what an achievement to those fans that have assembled the Willie Maley Memorial Group. Brothers and sisters, please tune in next time. If you've enjoyed watching this, please share it, tell your mates about it, and let's keep it going. Hail, hail, and let's hope we get the treble.